Are you guys gamers?
I game, yeah. I game quite a bit.
Yeah, but I only play those pornographic games on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it 24/7.
Yeah, I'm doing it 24/7. It's really affecting my relationship.
You do play a lot of those, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like nonstop. Like I'm like
You play them sound all the way up
completely
too,
on,
like in
yeah.
public.
I do it on airplanes a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'll play really loud on my phone.
And you're always kind of leaning over to the person next to you and going, "You gotta get a load of this one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I always make sure like I will like click the
Attendant, call
attendant
attendant.
thing like over and over and over and over and over again until they come, and then I say, "Can I cast this on the TV?" And then
Can everybody be looking at this too?
yeah. And like some of the games like are fully like full nudity and like fully very graphic with like fully voice.
Yeah, full pen.
But
I like the implied ones you play though.
I like the implied ones a little bit better because then like I can like make the voice myself.
And when you get to like imagine the steps of it,
Yeah.
it's a
And
little
you do it
more
loud.
interactive.
You like on an airplane, you're like full on going full volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The implied ones too. It's really fun to see like what they cover up the nipple with because it's like it's usually different.
Yeah, sometimes like they
emojis.
just cover it up with like a penis.
Yeah, it's like they cover it up
Yeah.
with like a photorealistic
this thing
penis.
is covering up these boobs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
flaccid,
Implied is
photorealistic
way better.
penis,
Hey,
yeah.
side note.
Yeah.
What sound do you think Mario makes when
When he achieves.
Woohoo!
Mm.
Okie dokie.
Okie
Oh yeah, Mario time.
Yeah, that's it.
Or like in the old N64 game when he would fall asleep and after a while he'd be like, "Love you."
Yeah,
While
that's
he's
it.
sleeping.
I think every sound he makes kind of works.
Yeah.
Mario's cool. I love games, man. Games are great.
Yeah.
I love video games. This is what we were thinking about when we were talking about video game stuff, right?
Yeah, like
Totally.
Mario. What's Mario up to when he's doing the deed?
And
I know
to
there's-
answer your question, I would consider myself a gamer, and I love calling myself a gamer, but I don't like playing games.
Yeah, it's a state of mind. It's
It
not.
is, yeah. I
it's
feel
not
like it's
what
a
you do.
personality type, and I feel like I'm a gamer girl, but I just don't like playing games. Actually, makes me so stressed out. I'd rather end it.
Anytime that I've
Like, not
tried to
the
play
game.
a game
Yeah.
with you, she starts button mashing, and then sometimes if she gets really stressed out, she will just drop the controller and run away from it like it's
Yeah.
like a small
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like me in that like I'm not an e-girl, but like I feel like I'm an e-girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Ooh, yeah.
I smell like McDonald's French fries.
Yeah, you don't brush your teeth.
I
You've
smoke a
been
lot
selling
of
your
Juul pods.
bathwater for several years.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, by the way, merch store, you can catch Lucas's.
Yeah, onlyfans.com/Lucas's bathwater. And Lucas's is like no apostrophe because you can't put that in the link, so it's just Luke ass bathwater.
Lucas.
Luke-
Luke
Yeah.
ass.
Luke ass
bathwater.
bathwater. That sounds like a nice Etsy store.
Yeah.
Except for it's disgusting and horrendous.
Yeah, what?
But no, don't
Excuse me?
don't yuck his yum. Like honestly.
I'm sorry.
And you know what?
No. I've been meaning to say this for a long
Makes
time.
his paper how he makes his paper. And let me tell you, those stacks are thick, much like that bathwater.
Yeah, I've been wondering about how did you get that so thick? It's like you've been putting like flour into.
Well,
Yeah.
it's all about what you got on you before you get in the bath.
Yeah. And he's covered in tapioca flour. Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
ever
so
made a
okay.
milkshake? You ever made a protein shake?
Oh yeah.
I'm really hoping that this is the first time that somebody's listening to this show. This is the introduction. to us.
This is who we are.
This is because it's really accurate. I think you got the essence of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, down to a T.
down to a T.
So what even is this podcast?
What?
Yeah, honestly, what even is this podcast? My name is Meredith.
I'm Kelly.
Lucas here.
Brendan, my love, is my name.
He's in the building, boys.
He's here.
But I think that I know what our podcast is.
Oh.
Okay.
us.
What is it?
What even is this?
Well, no, you don't have to do that. That's edited. That's
Oh,
put in
okay.
afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so
We sing the intro
do
live
we
every
want
time.
do we want to do it live?
Can you
We just
imagine?
play the backing track and one of us holds it up to the mic and then Kelly
I'll do
just
the-
That's hilarious. So
We spend the entire podcast holding our different instruments, but we only use it for a moment. Go on, Meredith.
had to take a little sip of my kombucha. Sometimes you just gotta that'll zap you right away. You know? It's like, oh my God, I'm back. Here I am. Okay. So as we usually do, what I'd like to do today is just kind of go one by one around the room and share how it's made.
What even is this? What even is this? What even is this? What even is this podcast? I want to make a podcast, but I have no ideas.
So this is what even is this? How it's made.
Okay.
Yeah, and like for someone who like doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like just for example,
Which
like
isn't you guys.
what do you mean by like
Mhm.
it's?
Yeah. So all of us here absolutely know what I'm talking about. But for anyone out there who doesn't know what I'm talking about, out in the ether, that would be just essentially anything that has to be created in some form of like machine shop or factory or anything. It's something that has to be made, and it can be an at-home item of like, oh, I'm gonna make a wind chime. Like how is a wind chime made? But
Yeah, you don't never think about that. You see it in the store and you're like, $8 for a wind chime. It's
Yeah.
like, that's probably a great price based on how it's made.
yeah, if you think about how it's made, it's absolutely a good price.
That's a bargain.
But for my personal sake, my episode today will be, or at least my portion of this episode today will be about wind turbines.
Wind turbine.
Wow.
Wind
turbines.
Turbines.
And not to
Right.
get ahead of anything, but like could some of us go last?
Yeah, because I know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do, so I'm ready.
you've got
I
your
can go
slots
immediately.
loaded.
Like
Yeah,
we all
because
know
I
what we're
know-
gonna do.
I
We all
I know how to
definitely-
make bread, so I'm gonna tell you how to make bread.
Oh, great.
Because you know,
Oh, do we
Meredith-
want to
do.
just share what we're doing now, or do you guys want to
Meredith
wait
hit us
until
out.
your
We
can
section?
wait.
We can
We can-
wait.
we
We
can
can
wait.
wait because like it's
You
so
guys wanna
fun to
reveal
hear the surprise.
yours.
Like when you said wind turbine, I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see you do
Yeah.
that and cover the mic.
So like I can't wait for you
But
guys
yeah,
to
like,
let
we
we
me
need to hear yours
mine.
first. I'll hold on to mine. And it's going to be a big surprise.
we all came with like a thing though that we're gonna talk about.
and you
what-
guys are not doing wind turbines.
You brought one, Lucas?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about how to make bread.
You
Yeah.
knew.
So you got like from an email or like how you
Yeah, we all
knew-
got
It was
the
a-
email.
Yeah, it was an email and a group text. I followed up with a group text as well.
For sure. I mean, I knew that.
No, I know.
did.
'cause
I
we all
read it.
got
I read it. I looked at it, and
Yeah.
I
You
said
did,
yes.
you did thumbs up the text,
I
Brendan.
thumbs up every text in that chain, and because I read them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, because when I said like, guys, I'm really sick,
Mhm.
I give you thumbs
you
up.
did thumbs up. So I felt like that meant like I read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it did. Well, yeah,
here
I
for
thumbs
you
up.
if you need anything.
Well, and you were. I hadn't seen you for months, and
Because I
Yeah.
was so sick for so
You were
many
in the
months.
hospital.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
thumbs up to everything.
couldn't
This is
visit.
fun. I can't wait to learn what everyone is.
And that
But you
gonna tell
guys
us.
you
how it's
didn't bring
made.
wind turbines because he's got bread. I just want to
Oh
make
yeah,
sure
no,
we're
I
not
like,
did
it's
do
so
wind
crossing
funny
streams.
because like I almost picked wind turbines when I immediately saw the email,
That's hilarious.
but then I chose something else.
okay, great.
I brought like
Awesome.
6 things, and based on what you guys say, I'm going to pick which one of the things that I'm going to do.
Okay, cool. Well, feel free to ask questions at any point, or
You got
like
it.
if I miss something, feel free to chime in if you know anything about wind turbines or you've experienced a wind
Right.
turbine before. I just want to open up real quickly with a little fun fact that I learned. This doesn't have to do with the manufacturing of them. However, I did learn that wind turbines are placed in areas where the wind is highest in or in tandem with the time that energy is used the most. So in California, wind turbines are
Oh.
placed in areas where the wind is harshest during the summer because we use the most energy during the summer.
That's so
in,
interesting.
Like on the East Coast, it's more towards the winter time where the wind is heavier because they need more energy during the winter. So that was just a fun little piece that I learned that I thought was great.
Have you ever driven by like the big fields of wind
Mhm.
turbines?
Yeah,
here?
they're
went
ominous.
through a field of one, and let me tell you something. This was at night, pitch black, deep in the darkest night, and I just see all these like red lights floating,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "What the freak are these red lights?" And
Yeah.
It was also the middle of a crazy thunderstorm with lightning.
Yeah.
and the lightning happened, and it lit up, and I did not realize I was deep within a wind turbine, like
A
Group.
horde of wind turbines.
yeah, and they were all around me. Isn't that
That's scary because
scary?
that is kind of like
Insane.
War of the Worlds, like an
Isn't it?
alien
Yeah,
coming
you
down with when the lightning brings it out.
Yeah.
It was like
That
I
was-
was like
they
I
were
should
gonna-
write this into something. It was really scary.
That
They
is
were
terrifying.
tripods in one of them, but then in a previous cut, they were a bunch of wind turbines that came down and were
Yeah, I
attacking.
have looked at so many images of wind turbines, but when you were telling that story, I could only imagine the monster from War of the Worlds.
Yes.
and like a lot of them in a
A
field.
lot of
Yeah.
them, so scary.
What do you
Anyway,
think-
They're
what-
big too.
What do you think we call a group of wind turbines?
Turbets.
Turbets? No, you know, like
Oh,
how you
like,
have
turbine.
a murder of crows.
I see.
I would say a breeze of wind turbines.
Ah, that's
Ooh,
really good.
that's really good. That's,
really
sickeningly sweet.
good.
So, essentially, what I would like to talk about first and foremost is the manufacturing process. So, you can't talk about the manufacturing process without first talking about preparing the site. So, wherever a wind farm, which is what it's called actually, when it's a group of
farm
wind
of turbines.
Oh, a
That's
farm.
good too.
Yeah, whenever a wind farm is being built, the roads are cut to make way for transporting the parts and also for maintenance afterwards. So a concrete foundation is laid in the ground, and then there's also going to be an installation of underground cables. It's all underground.
How
You're
deep?
not going to see it above.
How deep?
I don't personally know, but
Oh,
I
how
could
deep we
easily
talking?
Google that for you after this.
Yeah, how deep are the
How deep are
cables?
How deep are the cables? That's a good point.
Like, could I
That's a good
dig
point.
down to them?
Well, you might be able to dig them out. I don't think that they would dig deeper than you can dig.
Lucas, you planning something?
No.
Okay.
Just curious.
Okay.
Wow. Strong. Okay, and then when you're erecting the tower, knew it. I had to pause
Sorry,
for the gig
thought I
because
was
I knew
playing
it was
one of my
coming in.
games.
That's not funny. That's
Yeah.
not funny.
She said
Say
tower.
it
Sorry.
again. We're not gonna laugh this time.
Tower.
Okay, when you are erecting the tower, the parts are actually all assembled on site. I mean, there is one part that's not assembled on site, which is the nacelle, but I'll get to that. And they're bolted together before erection. And then the tower is kept horizontal, much like your mom, until placement.
I'm
And-
leaving.
And then a crane lifts the tower into position. All the bolts get tightened, just like your mom. And
Come on.
Stop it.
the stability is tested upon completion. Which
Just
with
like
your
your
mom,
mom.
with your mom, that stability is tested prior to completion, baby. But getting to the nacelle, first of all, a lot of pieces of a wind turbine are created using fiberglass. That is the majority. There are some actual, like, the rotary blades that are made out of aluminum that are bolted together with sheets of aluminum or carved out of wood. However, the vast majority of blades now are created with fiberglass, as is the nacelle. So similar to if you're on a plane, like the jet engine, that essentially is like the nacelle, like that
The
like
little-
cone that all of the fun stuff is inside of to make it run. That is the nacelle. And there is one of those on the wind turbine. That's what you have to climb that long ass ladder from the inside to get up to for maintenance. And that's what stores the energy or extracts the energy and transfers it into electrical energy.
What's like the Guinness Book of World Records fastest someone has climbed up there?
Ooh, I think I could break that.
Blindfolded.
Blindfolded.
Like easily, right?
I really do need to look that up though. Like fastest.
There's no way
time.
Guinness is allowing that.
Guinness
allows
allows anything you
anything.
apply for.
If you give them $10,000, they'll make a record for you.
Yeah.
Really?
It's-
Yeah,
They
really,
bring a guy
truly.
there to
Yeah.
give you a piece of paper
Yeah,
that says
it's real.
you paid $10,000 for your
Yeah.
Guinness World Record.
We should talk. We should plug our Patreon right now. Who knows the
Guinness
link?
Book of World Records for best Patreon.
The whole point of our Patreon is so that we can fund just goofy stuff.
Yeah. Get us $10,000 a month, and we'll do a different Guinness thing every month.
I will say, unfortunately, no one has completed it in a quote unquote fastest time as of yet. So that is
Okay.
still open to us.
You know, there's
So-
like one like engineer though that's like, I'm probably the fastest in the world at this.
Oh, I
And he's
bet.
like timing himself.
I bet.
Well, we can challenge him, and when he loses in front of his entire fucking family,
I get his wife.
you get his wife.
Yeah.
You get his wife. He can do what, the child can choose what they.
The child always gets to pick.
Child gets to pick who do I live with.
It does depend which state we're in for this wind farm,
But that
because
kid's
I know
gonna be
that
so
New
over-
York is a no-fault state, or rather California is a no-fault state,
Yes.
but New York is fault.
But here's the
So
thing, like that
you do need to
kid's
think about that.
gonna be can't go back to school knowing like I picked dad who lost the big turbine fight.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
I picked
no.
dad the pussy.
Exactly. His teachers are gonna know. The fellow students are gonna know. You think
Exactly.
those dads are not telling their kids?
No,
Humiliating.
Meredith's the new mom.
Yeah, I'm mommy now. Okay, so the fiberglass nacelle, like the tower, is manufactured off-site
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
in a factory But unlike the tower, because the tower is constructed on site, the nacelle is also put together in the factory. So the inner workings, the main drive shaft, the gearbox, the blade pitch, the yaw controls, which we all, of course, know what that is here, are assembled and mounted into the base. And then that is bolted around the equipment. And at the site, it's lifted with a crane onto the completed tower once the completed tower is all bolted together.
Great.
Yes, obviously.
Wow.
But the nacelle is really interesting to me just because that's like literally what houses all the power and what converts it so that you can create electrical energy out of it, which I think is just so badass.
Like, what happens though?
Yeah, like what happens? Like, how does it even make energy? It's like turning.
Yeah.
It's just
They're turning, but then what happens? Is it like it's turning and there's like friction, or like it's generating energy?
Or is it the speed at which? Yeah, I feel like it's got to be friction because when you're in like a Prius, that builds battery energy when you slow down.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when you brake, it uses that to put new energy into the battery.
So yeah, it must be the turning.
Is that it? Is it friction? It's
So
the
when you looked
slowing-
up how
it's
they're
the-
made, you
it's-
looked up how exactly they work, right?
Right. So the gearbox itself is needed. Like that's the gearbox is inside the nacelle, and that is what converts the rotor motion of 18 to 50 RPM rotations per minute to approximately 1500 RPM, which is required by the generator. And then for high power wind turbines, they have double fed generators, which are used, that's actually used most frequently, the double fed generators. And so then with the high torque and the coupling between the transmission and the main shaft, that becomes rigid. And then the brake type is actually based on the blade control mechanism. And all together, that converts the energy actually from the wind to the electrical and energy that is then shifted through the
So okay, but
I'm sorry, what was your question? What
so
was your
like
question?
so like the energy, like where does it go? And is it stored or does it go immedietely?
So
She's hold on.
could you just-
Meredith
I
has
have to say
to, Meredith has to text someone real quick.
Hold on, I have to send a real quick text to my
I
mom.
think that Meredith did explain it in there. Could you just say that again?
Yes, absolutely. So, so a wind turbine. All I'm seeing is videos right now.
Well, you just watch a video.
That's true. We could just watch a video on it. Well, they operate on a simple principle. Instead of using electricity to make wind, like a fan, wind turbines actually use wind to make electricity. So wind turns the propellers of the turbine around a rotor, which that rotor itself spins the generator.
Okay.
So really, essentially, it's the generator creating the energy, but the rotor on the turbine itself is
Right.
what's spinning the generator to create. So rather than you like pedaling on a bicycle
Right.
to create the energy, it's the wind turbine that's creating that energy.
How does it do that though? So how does it create the
so that's
energy?
the funny part about that is that I would then have to go into how it's made for generators.
Oh, that's not what this is about.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
we're talking
here.
about the-
We are absolutely talking about wind turbines.
I actually have this pulled up too. I see that the energy in the wind turns 2 or 3 propeller-like blades around a rotor.
Mhm.
The rotor is connected to the main shaft, which
Yes.
spins the generator to create electricity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
Obviously.
it's like, here's the thing though, it's like creating it.
Yeah.
Like
How?
yeah, and then how?
Well, because it spins the shaft into the generator.
Exactly.
Right.
It spins
Much like-
it spins the shaft in the generator. And so then the generator creates electricity and transfers it through
Okay, so this is
the buried cables to the
Sure.
electrical towers that are then distributing the electricity throughout the state of California.
so the electricity.
Yes.
So
Like,
when,
what
you,
is
when you're saying it's like created.
Right.
Sorry, are you just texting someone really quick?
No,
Yeah, you're just gonna text-
I'm going to text my mom again, but also you can keep talking.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like when it's created, that's like how? How is it created? Like
Is it God doing it in there?
Yeah, like so I know it's moving, right?
I can
The
actually step
blades
in
are
here. I've
moving.
got a thing here. It's
Oh, yeah.
wind turbines are the modern form of a windmill.
Okay, this is I think that answered my question actually.
Yeah.
That does. Absolutely.
It's modern.
Okay.
So essentially, in a turbine generator, a moving fluid like water, steam, combustion
there's
gases,
water inside.
or air push a series of blades mounted on a rotor shaft. We're still on the shaft of the rotor.
Okay.
And the
Pushing
force
blades, there's water.
the force of the fluid on the blades spins and rotates the rotor shaft of the generator, and then the generator in turn converts the mechanical, which is kinetic
Yes.
energy of the rotor into electrical energy. So inside that generator there's a conversion of kinetic energy,
Okay.
which thus becomes electric
So-
energy. Do you want to share how generators are made when you talk?
You know what? I actually I will cover. That's so funny. I will cover that for the next episode.
How
Generators was
it's
what I
made,
was gonna
right.
do actually,
Yeah.
Right.
because like there's a lot of questions like about like when it's like create or convert.
Right.
That like I'm like how?
Yeah. Well, maybe the background will help because the background is essentially just like a wind turbine is a machine that converts the wind's kinetic energy into rotary mechanical energy, which is then used to do work.
Who does the work?
Like work, the energy. You mean just everyone's work? Like that's how it gets into my computer and it gets into my
And then I can do my taxes.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. So when you log onto your computer,
Yeah,
that is a wind turbine.
that's
It's a wind turbine
A
is
wind turbine
responsible
has
for me
created
just
that.
ripping
Yeah.
up those forums.
Yeah. Anytime you
Yeah.
tweet, thank you, wind turbine.
Thank you,
wind
wind
turbines
for that.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, that's the main thing about it. And then
I've really learned a lot today.
thank
Yeah.
you so much. And I will say, I just want to answer some questions preemptively.
Uh-huh.
First and foremost, the ladder is really long.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Inside of it, they're
It's
very tall.
one?
It's very long. It's one
Scary.
ladder. One
It's inside
ladder.
of it. It's not outside of
Fall,
it.
you fall and then you bounce down every single rung on the way down.
Don't. You
Problem
don't.
solved.
You just don't do that.
Try
Okay.
not to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be silly to do that. It
Okay.
would hurt.
They've got a big
Ooh.
warning sticker for that.
Yeah.
At
They
the
actually
top.
have it. Yeah. Every 15 feet.
Yeah,
Once
they're-
you get past the first 50.
Don't fall.
Don't
down.
fall, dude.
Don't fall and bounce on every single
rung.
Don't fall
one.
and bounce.
Says, that would hurt real bad.
But I will say, yeah, entering the wind turbine, that's purely for maintenance. There is no ability to live inside of them. They are not in any way insulated. And so you're looking at heavy winds smacking that steel.
Oh yeah.
And there's no insulation, so when it's really cold, you're gonna be chilly, and when it's really hot, you are gonna be melted. So you
yeah.
cannot live inside of a wind turbine. You can only visit. You can only visit
Can
them.
the public visit them? Like, I got to get eyes on the inside of one of these things.
I'm gonna say yes.
Can I say something? I just Googled an image of like a wind turbine open, and they've got like a small little cafeteria in there. They got like a bookshelf.
I'm gonna say
No.
that is an illustration that is
that might
not
be-
real.
No,
That's like
There's too much
fan art.
electricity in there.
The space of, where
who's
the,
coming up with this
that's
stuff?
in the space where the nacelle is, which has all of the equipment, and that's what gets maintained.
I
You would
think that I
get-
probably
go
looked
into
up
it.
like somebody who's trying to describe like this is where they're doing
It's
all the
probably that
government
article we
secrets.
read.
Yeah,
I think you're looking at like a deviant art
yeah, that's genuinely.
based on.
You would get
That's- where do
electrocuted.
you guys get your images?
You would be electrocuted from all the kinetic energy in there.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's being
far too much kinetic
created.
energy for my
Yeah.
little
Oh,
brain.
I can take a lot of kinetic energy.
Yeah. Well,
I'm spinning around. I fell down a hill in Bora Bora.
that's true. That's true. You did not
Probably, like,
stop.
You could have probably.
We could have converted that into.
If we plugged you into a generator right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had just plugged ourselves into a generator first.
What's
We
the
could
type
have
of
been
energy
creating-
that's not like potential energy, but
Yeah.
like
Kinetic.
afterwards?
oh, potential later.
You need to go to the time machine and reconvert this into potential energy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That's-
great.
You did a lot of research, and that is not daunting to me.
Yeah, I did a lot of research too, so I'm gonna have the same amount of information that, and you guys are gonna learn just as much as we did.
Oh, so you're ready to
Right.
go right now?
Yeah. No, well, actually, I wanted Lucas to go next.
Yeah, I can go.
Lucas should go first.
I can go because I didn't have to do a lot of research. I just kind of know stuff. So this is
Oh.
all top of dome for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
So-
Most of mine was also top of dome because I'm a wind turbiner.
Yeah,
You're a wind freak.
wind girl,
I'm a
yeah.
wind freak. They call me Meredith wind
Meredith
freak.
Angel.
Yeah.
Meredith Angel wind freak.
Yeah, mine's well, it's I'm just gonna fudge some numbers here and probably make some stuff up. But the thing about making bread, so we're gonna talk about
up.
make some, no, well, not completely make up, but I'm gonna give you some generalities,
Oh, shit.
and then from there you can look up a recipe.
Okay.
But the basics of making bread we've known for millennia, I believe. I don't know. There's one of those generalities. I don't really know. But there's what we call a golden ratio when you're making bread.
3,
There-
6, 9.
There are
Damn good time.
There are 4 ingredients in making a regular ass loaf of bread. There is flour, water, salt, yeast. And the golden ratio of all of that is 163%. Okay?
Ooh.
We need 100% flour, 60% water, 2%.
What?
No.
are you
Shut up.
No,
We're-
no, no.
So we're at
No, no, no.
160%.
No.
We need 2% salt and 1% yeast.
Wait.
Wait, but
Flour-
then why isn't
Why
it 100%?
not just make it 100%?
Flour, water, salt, yeast. Because here's why. Because so if I'm using grams
Uh-huh.
and I think of that 163, I could
Is
make.
grams American?
I don't think so.
Then I'm not using
Yikes.
it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Doesn't
if
work for
I'm
me.
if I'm making 2 loaves of bread, I could use 1,000 grams because about 500 would make a good loaf of bread. So if I stick to that percentage of 163%, I could use 1,000 grams of flour, 60 grams or 600 grams of water, 20 grams of salt, and 10 grams of yeast. I throw all that in a bucket and I let it sit, and then I throw it in the oven, and it's going to make a loaf of bread. That's the ratio.
But you would split it first before you.
I
throw
would
it in the
split it
oven?
before I throw it in the oven, but I would throw it all together.
Do you
and-
keep it together for the rising?
Yes, I keep it together for the rising, and then for the proofing, I separate it. So that's a
Okay.
separate rising.
What's the difference between proofing and rising?
I actually don't really know.
Okay.
But yeah,
Do you punch your bread?
I still.
I do punch
Oh, yeah,
it. You do a
you
little
punch it.
punch test, and if it springs back up, it's ready to bake.
I still have so like I don't know how long ago this was, but at one point you made a story of you making bread where
Yeah.
each step you said and you did the measurements, and I literally screenshotted
Yeah.
each one of it. So I still have the screenshots on my phone of like, okay, now you do this, and one of them was showing you punching it
Mhm.
and then saying like punch it and let it do this. Yeah.
I like to punch it. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
like to.
that's
I
a
like
good-
to
that's
slap
fun.
that dough.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's basically if you got the right, I would get a scale and then 4 ingredients and a big old bucket to throw it in.
Mhm.
You throw all those ingredients together. You mix them up with your hands, get them all nice and incorporated, and then you let it sit until it about triples in size, and then you're ready to separate it
Mhm.
and form tight balls by rubbing it up against your counter.
Nice.
You rub it up against your counter. You form some tight balls.
You
and
flour that counter?
You flour that counter.
Nice.
Well, actually, when I'm forming the tight ball, I don't flour that counter. I like slide it on the counter and then I rotate it.
It's
and I
not
slide
sticky?
it again. You want it sticky. Then it makes like it's basically grabbing the counter, and it's as I pull it, I'm like rolling
It's
it and
activating the
tightening the
glutens.
ball.
Oh.
I'm tightening that ball, and then I
God,
flip
should've
it
done
over.
bread. Yeah.
You throw
Oh,
it in a
shit.
proofing basket until it's springy, and then you toss it in the oven, and you bake it.
And you're making
Toss
rolls
it.
there.
Toss it in a couple Dutch ovens so that, and you put that lid on the Dutch oven. I like to heat
That's
the Dutch
what I need.
oven.
I need a Dutch oven.
Yeah.
You
two
can get
Dutch
them for like
ovens.
$60 at World Market, and that World Market brand one is great. I use it. I think it's almost as good as a liquor set. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Let's
So,
go to World
We
Market.
preheat that. We preheat the oven with the Dutch ovens inside. That way, as soon as that bread hits the fucking Dutch oven, it starts to sear the crust.
Is there anything in it with the like when you're preheating it? Because I know with like Dutch baby pancakes, people put like butter in there with
No.
the preheating.
Mm-mm, no,
Nothing, just the Dutch.
just the Dutch oven, and it'll pop right off, have a nice, real crispy crust. But yeah, and then so we're gonna bake it for like I don't know, like 40 minutes or something. You're kind of eyeballing it until it's like nice golden brown. Then you take the lid off and bake it a little bit longer.
Okay.
But baking it with the lid kind of lets it steam as the water that we put in there is going to like rise and it's going to steam and just give it a nice even bake. And then taking it off kind of helps finish it off. Or the other way around. I don't know. Look up the recipe. I don't really
I feel
remember.
like Dutch oven is really the secret here because anytime I made bread without a Dutch oven, it's like
would
the
get some
cook
Dutch
is- I
ovens.
feel like it's so inconsistent.
Get some Dutch ovens, some proofing baskets. That's where your main cost is some Dutch ovens, but those are going to last you for your whole life and you
Right.
can cook
Take
anything
good
in them.
care of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you make bread.
Take good care of your pots and pans.
Flour, water, salt, yeast. 162 1. 163%.
Okay.
100% flour, 60% water, 2% salt, 1% yeast.
Okay, I thought you were saying 160 TO1, and then I got really
Two,
confused.
TWO.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, that's how you make bread. Do you guys have any questions?
What?
Okay. Yeah, great.
What's it taste like?
It tastes really good. It tastes really good. And then another thing is when you take it out of the oven, you should just let it sit for like 30 minutes. You'll hear it crackling. It's still
Ooh,
cooking
yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah, you do not want to cut that when it's still warm.
Yeah. Put
Yeah.
that thing on like a little drying rack or something. Let it circulate air all around it. It'll
Ooh.
finish up nice and crisp.
I've been thinking lately you should make us a loaf of bread.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do
I've
make
been-
a good
Now
loaf
that
of
you're
bread.
saying
I've been
that, I'm
thinking
like,
that too.
mm.
All right,
Mm,
what's
that's
your favorite top 3 things to slather on top of that bread.
Oh, you know what I like to do? I like to.
I could just talk about this for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. I mean, like, why even move on to what Brendan and I have?
That's so funny.
I got
Yeah.
another. I got another ratio here for you.
Okay.
Here, let me make it up in my head. We're talking 41%. Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking 30% butter, 10% avocado oil, 1% salt. Whip it all up in a food processor. You got a real nice butter spread.
Ooh,
That's
avocado
lovely,
oil. Never
lovely.
tried that before.
Okay, so
Just
that's
makes
the
it
top
real
3
nice.
things. You still have 2 other things to share.
I don't have really much. I mean, go buy a couple jams. Those
Okay.
are my other 2.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's like 2 gems. So there's one more, and you could just like really take your time and think on that.
Mm.
Yeah, but anyway, that's mine. Are you stalling? It feels like
No.
No.
Which of the two of you would like to go next? So we've got Kelly and Brendan next. Oh, you said you wanted to go last, right, Kelly? I think
could
you
go
called
last.
last.
I could go last. Yeah, I don't mind going last. If
Okay.
Brendan, do you want to share yours now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys,
yeah.
would you prefer?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we kind of let Lucas just roll because he was doing off the top of the dome, just
Yeah,
letting
top
him
of
get
dome.
it all out. Do you
Yeah.
want us to just let you get it all out, or do you
Top
want
of dome,
questions?
but pretty accurate.
Ask away. Ask
You want
away.
us to ask
Any
questions?
Okay.
Okay, so
anytime you wanna
Question
chime in.
number 1: what thing are you talking about?
Yes. Okay. How it's made. Have you ever seen a woman who is she's a fancy? She's wearing a pearl necklace,
Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
and you're like, how do you make a pearl necklace?
Oh,
Sexually?
okay. I like this.
Mhm.
N- well, now we've come to a crossroads.
Which way do you go?
Do we go with the sexually one, or do we go with the real one?
I mean, it's your
One,
thing.
one
It's
you
your
know how
thing.
it's made, and one you super don't.
I think that people know.
So do
how
you
want to
go how
sexually
it's actually made?
one. We're gonna go with how it's actually made.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How
Okay.
was a pearl necklace made? Well, first of all, you got a string,
You got a
right?
string.
And you got to put the pearls on the string,
Mm.
and then they tie it all up, and then they burn the end of the string,
Uh huh.
and then that melts the string because it's like a metal. It's like a
The
metal
string is like a metal.
The
Wait, is it a chain?
Oh,
It's a
Is
no.
it a chain or is it?
It's like it's like got like metal in it.
okay.
You know,
So,
I
like,
heard that
wire?
there's like a difference between how they thread like pearl necklaces if it's a cheap pearl necklace versus if it's an expensive one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So
tell me
what
about
is
that
that?
difference.
Well, thank you, Kelly. So the cheap way is what they do is they go around and they just find twine.
They find it?
They
They
find
just go
twine.
around.
Well,
They're
there's
foraging.
twine. There's twine around. Well, if you go to the
Oh.
store and then there's like a
Oh, so they're not
newspaper.
necessarily foraging. They're gonna go buy some
buy it.
twine.
Yeah, this
You
is
go
the
by
cheap
go
way.
around
This is the
find
cheap
twine,
way.
you mean go to the store and buy
Yeah.
it.
Buy it.
Go to
Find it on
Michael's.
the shelf
Okay.
and then buy it. Go to Michael's and then you buy twine and then you put
Okay.
it on there. Then, but if you're doing it the expensive way, the nice way, then they put a lot of care into this nice little wire, but it's metal, but it's really thin wire.
Like chicken wire.
it's like chicken wire, right? And then they put it around there.
Pretty thin.
Yeah,
It's
probably
thin.
probably
Probably
way thinner. Than,
It's like a
probably
thin,
more like jewelry wire.
it's like a
and-
chick wire. It's like a baby chicken wire.
I heard
It's
there was like a difference in how
Oh,
they
like
tie it. Is that something?
Well, yeah, they do. So
and there's just
the-
so many differences in pearl types
what they
too.
well, yeah, well, then we'll get into that. The wires are melted together to create one full circle.
oh.
So
on
they
the
don't.
pearl.
So with a pearl necklace, there's no clasp to open it or close it. It's just one. So
No,
you, just
you
put it
wear
over
It
your
has
it.
to be
You
bigger
put
than
it
your
on.
head.
You have-
No,
it has to be-
no.
Or
You
they
put it
solder it
on.
onto you and permanently.
Exactly.
Oh.
You put it on.
Oh.
You got a pearl necklace. You're wearing that shit for life.
Forever.
How long does that last though? Because pearls are one of the softest, if you would call
Yeah.
them, gems.
Yeah. Don't they get like destroyed by oils on skin?
Well, it's much
Mhm.
like
And scratched very easily. And like,
well. So here's what it is. It's much like a touchstone. Like you got to be doing you with your skin touching it all the time. It's actually polishing it.
oh.
And it's getting softer and softer. Your oils are technically destroying the outer layer, but it's bringing out the beauty that's underneath.
right.
Now I know what you're thinking.
That's actually really moving.
Yeah, it's a statement. That's part of why you wear a pearl
It's a
necklace.
statement
your entire
necklace,
life. It's
yeah.
a statement necklace. You got to get it from the oysters though, and we'll get cheap
Yeah.
way, expensive way.
Oysters, huh?
Oh.
They're,
Yeah.
The pearls
Yeah,
are coming from oysters.
yeah,
Aren't they?
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
no, that's what I was. That's
Brendan's
what I've
the
been
one who
telling
knows.
you. So then the oysters they're making the pearl inside of them. The cheap way to do it is they're reusing other rocks.
Mm.
The oysters are?
Wait, the oysters
The
are
cheap-
oysters
reusing
care about-
different rocks
the
to
oysters-
make it into a pearl.
Well, the oysters, they like giving pearls to people. So what they do is they'll open up and then they give
use
you the pearl.
rocks.
Well, if they're the cheap way, every oyster's got one real pearl and one fake one, and then it's up to you to decipher which one is the
and
rock.
they only let you take one.
Correct.
Do they snap down like in?
If you take the wrong
Pretty
one.
Yeah, if you
Woman?
take,
Oh.
well, as soon as you take one, they snap closed.
Yeah,
and you
I've
can't-
seen that.
Cannot be opened
I've
again.
seen that on TV.
Unshuckable.
Exactly. So there's the cheap one, which is the ones that they got the bad rock. And
Right.
you can feel if it's the bad one because it's a rock. It's heavy. And then the pearl is actually built. That's a baby oyster before it opens up.
Oh, it's like an egg.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
It is the oyster.
It's
An
the
egg
full
implies
oyster?
the shell. This is the full oyster, but they haven't opened up yet.
So it's
So
that
they're
you
in
kill
there.
it and
No,
you put it
it's-
on your neck.
No, it's alive.
Oh,
That's
it's still
the
But you
alive.
crazy thing.
stab a wire through it
Stab a
and
wire through
solder
it.
it to your skin.
Yes. you put a wire through this tiny baby oyster
And it survives.
It survives. It's there the whole time. They, funny enough, can do photosynthesis. So you got to always be going outside with your pearl necklace.
With your pearl necklace.
And then it reminds you that you have to go get your vitamin D as well. It takes about them that much.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
and how long does it take to make one?
The oyster or
Yeah,
the pearl necklace?
The pearl
It takes them
necklace.
about 9 months
Okay.
To make a necklace.
to make a baby oyster.
Or to make a baby oyster.
And then another 9 months for them to make the necklace because it's a
Oh.
very delicate process. Also, it's not that many oysters, so you
Mm.
got to let them remake their.
When
rocks.
you remove the pearl,
Mhm.
does it kill the oyster?
pass.
Oh,
Okay.
delicate subject.
Yeah,
Delicate
it's look, it's
subject.
there's a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
thing is
controversy
kinda
around that. So anyway, that's pearls, and thank you so much. We're gonna move on. And you guys
Okay.
have no further questions.
Yeah, no, that actually
And
all
thank
that
you
makes
so
a lot
Actually
of
did answer
sense.
all my questions.
Thank you so
Are
much
we
for.
sure? Are you sure you don't want to
No,
keep
I
talking?
mean we've got about approximately enough time for Kelly to do.
I don't mind not going. It's okay.
Kelly, you don't have to do that. We have more than enough time.
Yeah, there's plenty of time.
And we all read the email that has.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, I really want to, because part of why I love doing these episodes is because I really love learning new things, and I love learning about things that you guys are passionate about. Like, to me, I love wind turbines, and I love wind, and I love energy, and I love kinetic energy. So, and I know that Lucas loves bread.
Yeah.
I'm
loves to make
obsessed
it,
with
loves to eat it,
ratios,
loves
too.
to smell it, loves to hear it,
Mhm.
loves ratios,
Love
loves
ratios.
percentages and accurate percentages.
And water.
And a water, he's a big water boy.
I love
What do
pearl
you love,
necklaces.
Kelly?
I was
They call
actually
me the
pretty
pearl necklace
surprised that
king.
you love pearl necklaces so much.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
everybody
his-
knows that. They call me the pearl necklace king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the women in his family own pearl necklaces.
Oh
Mhm.
wow.
hmm
Yep.
Well,
That's how he knows so much about them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm
Cool.
old money.
Oh.
Yeah. In the Gatsby's time, I was still old money.
Oh wow. Old.
Well, I was
Old.
potential old money at that point, and now I'm
Oh.
kinetic old money.
Nice. That's
That's fun.
Well, everyone in my family owns a Nintendo Switch.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I'm
How's
gonna
the Nintendo Switch
how a
made?
Nintendo
New money.
Switch is made. So there's a lot of microchips in there.
Mhm.
I would say upwards of 30, correct?
They're just loose.
These are like the smaller.
You know, like
Chocolate
an owl
chips?
pellet. So like, because it's like what there's little pieces in there, and it's like if you were to take it apart, it's like it makes one thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did that in
Good
6th
story.
grade.
Yeah, and you remember, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a skeleton of like a mouse.
Yes, exactly that.
So if you were to take apart a Nintendo Switch, there would be so many little pieces in there that you're like, what even is this?
What even is this?
Yeah, right. Like our show.
Yeah,
That's
right,
why I
right.
wanted to choose a Nintendo Switch, because like the minute I read that whole entire juicy email,
Mhm.
like 60,000
And the
times-
attachments.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was
there
a
were
big email, I
So
think.
many
I don't
attachments that it like honestly gave my computer a virus. That's how many attachments there were.
Yeah.
So
I do that sometimes.
like when I read that so many times, I was like, oh my gosh, what even is this like the inside of a Nintendo Switch? So I
Right.
planned that from when we got that email,
hmm
however long ago.
So how do they make it?
So there's like upwards of 30 chips, right?
hmm
Uh-huh.
Each one of those chips is unique and is made by a different person.
I'm so excited to hear what each of these 30 chips are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm When I was researching, I was like, I can't wait to share what each of these 30
Could I
chips
fit
are.
all 30 in my mouth at one time, or are they different shapes?
It's really weird because like you could definitely fit it, but they're very dense.
Like they're heavy?
They're heavy,
Heavy?
very
So-
So you
heavy.
gotta do workout.
That sounds
before.
so crazy because the Nintendo
The
Switch
Switch
really
is so
isn't. Yeah, it's a
light.
very lightweight
Well, because
console.
the thing that they use on the outside is so that like the shell.
Mm-hmm. It takes away
It's
weight.
negative
so
weight.
light.
It's like
Mhm.
eating celery.
Yeah, it's like eating celery. It burns calories.
Yeah.
So like the outside of the shell is made from like different
like like helium.
yeah.
Like a
so
balloon.
like so like imagine a balloon.
Ooh, I'll try.
Okay.
Hold on.
Now it's now but you have to make it a solid. How do you do that?
Like
Easy, stupid. It's just they put it in a tube
okay.
and then they like push down on the top of the tube really hard.
It makes like a flat surface.
And
on-
it like goes like and then it becomes like a little disc.
Ooh,
Like a little wafer.
okay.
And then so that it's like they take off the top of the tube and it like floats out. They're like, oh my god, I have to catch it because it's so light.
Right.
They put it on they just wrap it around the chips.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not like attached to some sort of motherboard or something. They're loose.
Yeah, how do they make the games in there?
I think we'll get to that.
So the different chips, they're constantly moving actually.
Oh.
Constantly
Wow.
moving. Yeah, it's like
Well, they're taking data from one side of the Switch to the other.
and they have to move it. So
Just like a Pong game nonstop. in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
yeah, and so like basically it creates a lot of energy inside.
Potential.
Oh,
Mental energy.
how does it from movement?
So there's
how does it create
so what
energy?
happens is like it takes the pressure of your hands from the outside
Oh.
and you're pressing on the outside and that pressure is converted once it's like pushing on the chips, right? And the chips are like and then the chips convert the energy, convert the pressure into an energy.
How do they do that?
They so I'm not doing a how is it made on chips this week. So
Oh, that's for
if
next
you want to
week.
do a
Right.
how is this made on chips, doors open. But so what it's so if you shake your Nintendo Switch really, really, really hard,
Mhm.
like as hard as you can, you'll hear the chips rattling around in there. But you have to shake it like really hard.
Really hard.
Really, really hard.
Okay.
This is really great information.
Yeah.
How's it made?
So there are 12 guys. And
Oh,
each of them
they work for Nintendo?
yeah, they were for Nintendo.
Okay.
Highly specialized.
Yes.
Highly, highly specialized. Like one guy is the guy that does the helium wafer.
Okay.
And then the other guy does the chips.
All 12 of them cannot be on the same airplane.
Can't be in the
They
same
have to
place.
split them for safety.
Now you might be saying, Kelly, you said that there are 12 guys?
You did say
Okay.
that. I was thinking that.
Yeah, and you're like, what do the other 10 guys do? Because there's 2 of them. One's doing the shell and one's doing the chips. There's nothing
And
else.
that's all that a Switch is,
That's
basically.
all it is.
I hope it's not classified.
Maybe screen.
Well, yeah, there's like, so there's one guy that like tells the others, time for your job. So he like goes to each and he's like, time for you.
Right, because they're super specialized, but they're not certain when they fit into it.
Right.
So they've
Because
got to
no
get
one
a
wants
cue.
to step on other people's toes.
Mm.
That is, so, I think most men are usually like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
usually what it's like
Yeah.
in a work environment.
Yeah,
of
they're not like-
"Ah, I don't want to get in your way.
Right. Exactly. They're not
Like,
like,
maybe
let me
respectful
show
of your-
you
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah.
So then, now that leaves 9 guys.
Yes, that's yes.
So they are the runners. They are running around the room as fast as they can.
very fast.
It
voice.
sounds like a larger scale of what's going on inside of the Switch.
Yeah.
well, so
That's like,
they're
I've played that game.
yeah, they're
Based off them.
demonstrating because the chips guy, he needs to see like what he's doing. So they're demonstrating what the chips have to be doing inside of the Switch.
Yeah, because
So
he'll
they're-
forget.
He'll forget. and he wants to get it right every time. So they
He
are
has to. His job depends on it.
exactly. So they're like running as fast as they can all around the room, bouncing, like putting pressure on the walls. And they're like, remember, like the walls are like the skin of the switch. and they keep pushing, and they keep going, and they keep saying like the pressure. So they keep getting the pressure to remind everybody this is how the switch works.
But it doesn't hold. That doesn't generate anything other than just as a reminder. They're
well,
doing
they
this.
get really hot.
And then at that point, they have to figure out a solution to that problem because it's
Yeah.
going to get hot in your hand if all these boys are getting hot.
Right. So they open all the windows, and there's okay, of the remaining 9, there's a rotating one guy that has to open all the windows.
Mhm.
So how do you open the windows on the Switch?
Well,
One of the-
luckily for you, there's a fan inside, and I know I didn't mention that before, but I thought that it spoke for itself.
Obviously, yeah.
How do they make the fan? Rotors?
Well, do you remember the wind turbine thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
So remember when Meredith was like, or wait, someone, I think it was Meredith, said that it's not a fan because the fan uses energy to spin, whereas a wind turbine spins to make energy.
So it's
Right.
the
Right. So
opposite of
this
a wind
fan
turbine.
is
Uses
operated by
energy.
wind.
No, it's operated by energy.
Oh, it's operated by energy. The energy of the chips moving around.
Of the chips bouncing all over the place and of you gripping with your hardest on the switch. That's why
Yeah,
like
that's part of it. Like when you're playing, you have to really bear down on the
to
controls.
grip
Yeah.
it as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just burst out of the room.
Oh yeah,
Right. exactly.
All over the place.
Exactly.
I've
So,
heard. Yeah,
Yeah, you can make a switch probably in like an hour.
with the right 12 guys.
Right. Like those 12 guys can make 2 switches in an hour.
Okay. Oh,
Takes them a half hour to make a switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could just make one.
Well, you are alone. Do the math.
What's
okay?
the golden proportions for a switch?
You have a ratio on them.
Oh.
Oh, 23.
That's pretty good.
23%.
23%.
That's a pretty good ratio.
Do the
Wow.
math.
Well, wow. I've really learned a lot.
I've learned
Thank you.
so much. Can I ask? So, there is a charging port
Mm.
on a Switch.
Yeah.
So, is that just for appearance because people are comfortable with that and they
Well-
don't necessarily understand the chip energy aspect of it, or
So,
is
like-
that something where like that's a backup energy source?
They don't want people to feel bad for having a weak grip.
Ooh,
Oh.
Right.
Ooh,
'Cause
I
can you
forgot about that
imagine?
aspect.
I was
Yes.
about to ask, what am I gonna do?
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you are a
Yeah,
pathetic
that
little
hand strength is
a
nada.
pathetic little freak with just like the weakest hands. So like that charging thing, when you plug it in, it actually like, do you notice that it kind of goes around your switch?
It moves.
No, I
Around the
mean like
switch?
the dock, how it like you
Ooh,
slide
yeah.
your switch in, right?
Yeah.
That's actually, you don't see it.
Ooh, it's squeezing.
It's squeezing it.
Mm.
Oh.
That makes so much sense to
Yeah.
me now that you say that.
Every time that I look over at my Switch, I kind of see it like vibrating in the corner, like it's being held down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
But it's like
definitely
bulging
a
out the top
conflict.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, it has a sensor. It only squeezes at full squeeze when you're not looking because they don't want people to feel bad because they're like,
So
if
we've
it's
got some Toy
squeezing-
Story aspects as well.
Yeah, it does. It is sentient when you're not looking.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes me more comfortable though. It's like just when I'm not looking.
Yeah,
I
just, you know,
didn't know this was going on.
Yeah.
Most
This is
don't.
why we do this show.
Oh, are they
basically.
cool with dogs?
I-
Because my dog's at home with my Switch right now.
Your dog is perfectly fine with the Switch.
She
Okay.
can't fit into that charging.
No, I just
Apparatus?
I'm talking about the sentience of it. Like,
Oh,
are they
they're
buds?
fine.
Do they know
They're
each
fine.
other?
Yeah, they're okay with animals. They like animals. That's what they move around animals.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They just don't move around humans
Right.
Mm.
because they don't want you to feel bad for having a weak grip.
Yeah, they want you to think that it's not about the grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really trust all this info. I feel like I could make all this stuff.
I'm so glad that we were able to endow information upon you.
It's
you
actually way
guys.
more simple when you break stuff down like that.
Thank you.
It's
I
like
love-
you can actually just make this.
I love learning how it's made because then we know how to make it if we want to make it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is maybe like I mean, obviously, we'll do some more episodes of just how it's made, but I think eventually we could spin it off into something where, like, we're actually creating the things that we've learned how they're made.
It would be really cool because I feel like we've got 4 things here definitely that if we went out and made them, it would work.
I don't know if I would suggest attempting to make a Nintendo Switch yourself.
Well, you said that we could.
You said we could.
I think like you can, but like it is really scary
Ooh,
to do
okay.
it.
And Brendan, your pearl necklace, you said we could make, right? With those instructions?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
So we'll be a little scared and make a Nintendo Switch and a pearl necklace and a wind turbine and some
Mhm.
bread.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm a little spooked to make a wind turbine because what if we climb up the ladder and then we all fall at the same time and hit the ladder all the way down?
Oh.
Well,
Oh my
actually, that's
gosh.
good news that you have your pearl necklace on, because if your pearl necklace catches something, then it'll keep you from falling any further.
Oh, that's true.
But what if you fall so hard that your head flies off? Like what if it just
Well,
pops?
no,
I
because
don't-
you're soldering the
I
pearl
don't know-
necklace onto
Oh,
your
it's onto your
skin, so it almost
skin.
becomes
Yeah.
a part of you.
That's
so
right,
it
that's
just
right.
gets caught, and then you're just hanging out there.
I
Okay.
don't know if that would happen.
Which part?
The head falling off.
Okay.
bar.
Oh,
think
right.
That it would. I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
I think you'd be all right.
Okay, well,
Well,
I'm gonna
'cause
bring my
it's
Nintendo Switch.
I'll leave a loaf of bread at the bottom in case we fall. It cushions us.
Ooh.
Oh, it's
oh
so
my gosh,
big.
yeah, you could make a big old loaf.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're just really tiny.
I'll use
Yeah, 'cause we're so
10,000 grams
small.
of flour.
We're just so
we're the
small.
tiniest podcast. in
We have
existence.
been.
We are pretty teensy
We're so
little
small.
cute babies.
Like this can of liquid death is like their tiny version.
They did make that for us too.
Because sponsorship.
How did they make it?
Great question. I'm not doing how they make liquid death right now.
We could.
Guys, stop fighting.
Stop!
Here's the thing. I would do this how it's made podcast every week, but it did end in a big fight right there.
I know. And guys, I'm really traumatized from the fight you guys just had. So I think next week let's try something else.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
No, it was a good idea though, and
It was
we
a
like
great idea.
we loved the email and the text thread. we
I'm
loved
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry that I gave you a virus.
What if we do this? What if we do this next time that we do a podcast? We read the email at the beginning of the episode
Out loud together.
so that the audience knows what our communications are.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
But it would still, like, if someone weren't to have read it or something, whatever reason, like, if that were to happen in the future, they would still be finding out day of.
they would be finding that if they have not read it.
Well,
Right.
and like precious. I mean, I just feel like a minute is precious. There's a
Right.
lot you can think of in a minute.
Yeah.
There's a
That's
lot
so
of
fair.
things you can
Because-
invent in a minute.
I'm thinking of so much stuff all the time, and I don't want to get that in the way.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, hey, we do. This is the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Well, we
yeah.
got all sorts of stuff. We got a YouTube. Go look at that. We got a Twitter. We got an Instagram. Go follow that. We have a
Those
Patreon.
are What Even
If you want,
IT.
what even IT is most of our social media. We've got, if you sign up for a Patreon at any tier, you're gonna get, or the $5 or more tier, you're gonna get a free sticker with all of our faces on that has not been photoshopped.
No,
is-
it's just a photo realistic
It was like
photo.
candid photo of us.
Yeah, it was a real human photo of us.
We were on-
and
Yeah.
it looks perfect and we're gorgeous.
It's what we all always look like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Time.
like, and we always like stand in that formation.
Mhm.
We're always sitting on bleachers.
Yeah, that's where we like to hang out. So, yeah.
So go check that out, and then you also get the video version of this podcast.
Yes.
And you do the $10 one, you get the episodes a week early. So if you're
Yeah.
interested in that,
Mm-hmm.
And certain
But
people get a
don't-
shout out.
Yeah, don't
We
we,
do have a
to,
shout
Don't we
out.
have to scream about somebody?
we have to scream about our
we have to
friends.
scream about Addie Harris. Thank
Addie
you,
Harris.
Addie.
Thank you so much, Addie Harris, for being our tippity top Patreon scrubber.
Subscribers.
And she also did that other thing,
Oh,
Oh.
the scuba tank thing.
the scuba
Yes.
tank
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yes, when an entire school of children was scuba diving and all of their equipment malfunctioned, and so she went one by one and saved them, and like she would put her breather on them,
On them.
and pull them
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
That was crazy when she did
that was nuts. She
And
swam so fast,
so brave.
so fast, so brave,
Yeah,
so
really
strong,
brave.
so beautiful.
So thank you, Addie, for doing
Thank
that.
you so
Thank
much, Addie
you.
Harris. We love you.
Do we scream?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we're falling down the wind turbine.
Oh no, it's happening right now!
Executive produced by Lucas Eubank, Meredith McNeil, Brandon Mylove, and Kelly Nugent. Special thanks to Pump House for our theme music, Blackout.